This one's kind of unusual. I may put it on a different channel because it's going to relate to what will be probably at least worthy of documenting a year-long process, and that is that I'm having weight loss surgery November 20th. I forget things relative to what other people are interested in asking. So I asked my daughter Kelsey if she would hang around and see if I'm missing stuff, and then kind of shout out questions so that I can answer them. So where should I start?
Why did you decide to do the surgery in the first place?
So I decided to do the surgery because I think that, well, I know the first diet that I remember going on, I was 6 years old, and I think I've done every diet since then. You'll hear the dogs barking. It's okay, that's what dogs do. But so I've done a lot of the diets, and I don't have any problem losing weight. Keeping it off and being consistent with it is something that I don't do very well with unless I'm being forced, and ain't nobody gonna force me, you know. And I kind of have hang-ups about that. Like if I get pressure either from family, friends, or specifically if my husband tries to be helpful, I don't take it that way. And so I have a whole lot of stubbornness around weight loss and my own motivation for doing it and what have you. So my doctor that I've had for years before I moved to Virginia, he is a DO, which they kind of have a creed of being less invasive. But it got to the point where after years and years of working with him, he said, you know, if you're willing to do the extreme, that seems like a case for you, because I had not been able, no matter how tearfully I promised I would, to keep the diet and exercise consistent enough that it was going to be helpful to me. And I think that it's coming down to the fact that I'm physically uncomfortable from the weight and the medical issues that happen as a result of being overweight had gotten to where I'm just uncomfortable. And when insurance a couple years ago changed where they would cover it depending on what your BMI was, I definitely looked into it more seriously at that point.
So, why would you do the bypass over the sleeve, or what made this
one
more appealing?
When I first started to do this, I was like, oh, you know, I could do the lap band. I acted like so naive, and he knew me enough. My doctor, he's like, yeah, you can eat around a lap band. You can. And I don't think he was meaning me specifically, but he's a smart man. He probably had a little bit of insight. I see, when you have food addiction, and I straight up have food addiction, it doesn't matter if you're hungry. People say that all the time. Well, you know, just eat when you're hungry, you know. That would be great. That would be a really good idea. And stop eating when you're full. Again, that's a really good concept. But I need a little bit more than a hint or a nudge, because a few years ago, this is just a one-off that I think about in terms of knowing that I am straight up food addicted, sugar addicted. Well, for one thing, I went off of it yesterday, and I really had strong thoughts about killing my family, and they did nothing. They did nothing. Even the dogs. I mean, the dogs aren't being malicious. They're being dogs, and I really hate them a lot yesterday and today. And mostly because I'm just irritated. There's a lot of psychology and stuff that goes into this, and I will do some smaller video clips about that are specific to me. And every bit of this is specific to me. You should talk to your doctor. But I chose and initially, he asked me to consult with my doctor about which one they recommended, the sleeve or the bypass. And I thought, well, I've just known so many people whose weight loss surgery was so successful by having the sleeve. And the sleeve is just where they cut the outer edge of your stomach so that it's a smaller pocket or pouch. The bypass is similar, but it detaches the biggest part of your stomach and kind of remaps things lower. You can Google it because there's no way I could describe it to you. But I've watched a million of the YouTube surgical videos and then the testimonials of people. So the range of extreme increases risk, but it also increases by success. So if you just by having the surgery alone, the surgery alone does a certain percentage of the work for you, the first bit. And I believe, from my memory, and I've looked at several websites, and it's just about 10 points different. So doing just lap band, that it will help you about 40% of the way to your weight, goal weight or ideal weight. The sleeve, if you just have the sleeve, it's about 50 to 60%. If you have the gastric bypass, then it is 60 to 70% in terms of supporting your weight loss to your ideal weight. So I like those odds. But for another thing, when I came to Virginia, the doctor said that given that I'm young, relatively, for this surgery, I guess, and he's done lap band, he recommends for younger people. But given that I'm young, the benefits for me will be way longer and in life. And then additionally, given that I am young at the stage of getting this done, I have no idea what the second thing was. What was I thinking? The doctor. Oh, the other, that I would have longer to get complacent with the less extreme models. So let's say I chose one of the other ones that are less extreme. I could grow into that complacency a little easier than you can be complacent with gastric bypass, if that makes any sense. So that's why I chose the gastric bypass. Well, here's another fun fact. I have other health issues that frankly are the greater motivation for me right now, that I want to improve by no longer having this excess body weight. And I don't know, well, I guess this would have something to do with it. I've had, before and after I had babies, but especially after babies, I have adhesions inside where it's kind of like endometriosis, but it's technically not. It's just scar tissue that when all your organs are so tight together, they just grow these little adhesions. They look like little tendons and just scars that are across organs. Well, getting up and down sometimes, I have my ovaries left. Yeah, ovaries. I kept them after my hysterectomy, and all I can tell you is they pinch every time I get up and down, and it's not like I just am. So I'm in a lot of chronic pain that's just sort of in the noise. I just deal with it. Coming to this area, we live in a townhouse. I never have had, I've seen a lot of the people that struggle with obesity that also struggle with knee pain. I've never had that. And whether it's my weight now or my living circumstance, my knees are starting to say, "Hey, lady up there, lose the backpack," and I'm not wearing a backpack. So yeah, I'm uncomfortable, and I think that's a lot of it too. Yes. What else am I remembering or forgetting?
So what are the anxieties for the people that may be thinking about
Oh,
doing this? What are your anxieties and what are the things you're most excited for the benefits of it?
oh. So the stuff that I'm concerned about, well, the things that are kind of a like these are the lumps you have to take to get the surgery done. First of all, you have to go through a lot of screening. The page, I should have it out, it was a long list. First of all, you have to get blood work, you have to get EKGs, you have to get, there's other acronyms that I don't know what they were. I had to get an endoscopy, and that's where he diagnosed my hiatal hernia, which is another reason why I have really excessive, harsh uh, acid reflux. And the funny thing about that is that it's not funny at all, is that I've gone to the hospital, I think 3 or 4 times in the last couple of year or 18 months with every sign that I'm having a heart attack. I get on the stress test thing and they say, nope, you're good. You're good. And if you don't, if you're not dying, when you get on a stress test, you really feel like you're going to die. But anyway, so I have gone through that of having heart issues and the high blood pressure. It's a feeling of I get headaches with the high blood pressure. So then I take something for the headache that irritates my stomach. And then in irritating my stomach, then that gives me the reflux. And then with the reflux, it makes me feel like I've got, I mean, so it's obesity is a bitch, and it's no bueno. I mean, every bit of it is a cycle that I would love to break. But so those are the things that I will be glad to see going away. Those are the things that I've been motivated to take care of. And then the things that I'm nervous about, well, the process it's a process. So 2 weeks before your surgery, I'm on day 2 of what will be 12 with no sugar and no caffeine and no carbs or very low carb. I'm essentially just eating, I'm having 2 meal replacements of what the heck, those Premier shakes, and then getting off coffee. You guys know, if you've looked at Facebook and in my life, I go to sleep thinking about the cup of coffee I'm going to have the next day. That's no exaggeration, and it is one source of pure joy because for me, food is connected to emotions, and that emotion is strongly connected with the fact that I got up for years and had coffee with my dad. I love coffee. I'm still going to drink decaf, but you know, it's just stuff like that. I started to say this earlier and I don't know, I got sidetracked. A few years ago, the food addiction thing. I make this Christmas candy that if you're from the South, I don't have to explain it, but it's peanut patties. And I make it with slivered almonds as well as peanuts. And I just love it. I mean, to say that I love it is to say, you know, I kind of like breathing. I really like it a lot. Like just tasting, the thought of it right now makes me happy. So it was the year that my daughters went on, you guys went to,
Was it when we went to Philly?
no, it was the winter thing, the camp where you guys tried to
Camp
die.
Bighorn.
They went to Bighorn. I don't remember what year that was. Your junior year or something?
It was my freshman year.
Freshman year. Anyway, so they were gone. Brady went back to work. I don't know why. I was off a few days when he wasn't, or maybe he went hiking or skiing. I don't know. But I was home alone with that candy. And that Christmas season, the 3 weeks, I gained, and if you don't think this is possible, I hand to God gained 15 pounds in 3 weeks. 15 pounds, which I wouldn't think would be possible, but let me tell you what's in peanut patties. Sugar and peanuts, and or almonds if you are crazy like me and shake it up a little. So this is what I would do with that candy. I would eat it and eat it and eat it, and then I would get sick because it was so much sugar. I would go lay down, drink some water, take a Tylenol, lay down, lay down, lay down, and then get up as soon as I felt better and eat some more. For 2 reasons. 1, nobody was home. And 2, I friggin' love it. But also, 3, I'm just an addict. I mean, it's like asking a drug addict why they would do what they do. I know why they do what they do. And if it came in peanut patty form, but for the grace of God, I mean, that's the only reason why I wouldn't be in jail, because I can get that same high from sugar. And I did. 15 pounds worth. But the pounds aren't what blew my mind. It's that I would lay there and just like ready to throw up from eating so much candy, get up, go in the kitchen, and eat some more, and just be so happy that nobody was home yet to see me eating it. So that's just screwed up, and that's part of the psychology part that I was talking about earlier. But the parts that are just on the list of things that you have to deal with: recovery, you're in the hospital for 2 or 3 days, and then for 2 weeks you're on a soft food diet, and then after that you can start adding other foods back in. You have to take supplements for the rest of your life. People should anyway, but I will be adamant and have to do that. The other thing is that you'll have to deal with is your hair. My hair, everybody that goes through this, you have an initial depletion because you're taking in fewer nutrients at first, and your hair thins. So y'all might see me in cornrows and hair extensions because I live on the East Coast now, where I can go down to the corner and get me some African American talented women that know how to just use Caucasian hair to put a weave in. I don't know what I'm going to do, but my and it's temporary. It's when you have that dip after surgery, and then your hair recovers and you take biotin and everything. But anyway, so that's it. And then what I'm looking forward to afterwards, all those negative things that I told you, like I don't sleep in the night, not because of sleep apnea. I don't sleep because I'm up every 1 or 2 hours with such horrible indigestion that I have to get up and take water. And I take a ton of, don't worry about me, I take a ton of the antacid stuff, but I'm just not going to risk it in terms of, I don't want to get so much in there that impacts my calcium absorption, because it does. Anyway, the funny things that I would say that I'm looking forward to, it's not so funny, but I'm going through menopause early. It's kind of like that in our family, and I can tell you, I sweat for like just sitting here, happy as a clam, can have a hot flash, and that is a cruel, sick joke that somebody came up with, where you just burst into sweat. It's out of nowhere. You can be in a freezing cold room. You could be on the back patio watching the dogs go poop, which happened to me yesterday when it's 44 degrees outside, and all of a sudden, hot flash. Ain't nobody got time for that. What else? My knees, my health. I got to tell you, much of it is that I want to be active with my kids and my family, and I'll go into this more on other videos, but I make choices in my life that limit my participation based on what I know that I can physically stand or what I want to physically show myself doing. Like, do I want to go to a swimming party with the neighbors or whatever? I don't care at this point, but I mean, there are times when I've limited my activity based on that kind of thing where I was either body shaming myself or feeling like I just don't want to do that. We went to raft, to this summer, and it was great. But those are the kinds of things where you're going to have to get fitted for this, that, or the other. And even if it's just a second, it takes away the joy of the experience. And you just want to be in the moment and enjoy it with your family. And because I'm an addict where food is concerned and I can't go cold turkey, the bottom line for me is that I need a physical limiter, and that's what the surgery is going to do for me. And the one thing that I have to say, and I wish I could stand on a chair and make everybody hear this, it's totally not the easy way out. It makes me laugh when I see people say, oh, I've lost this weight, but I know I took the easy way out. You didn't take the easy way out, and I'm not taking the easy way out. I'm taking the way that works for me, and I've done this for 44 years without consistent success and longevity, and I'd like my life to be elongated and to have a fullness of life. And because of my weight, I'm limited in doing that, health and mentally. So the other thing I'm kind of scared about is that fat stores hormones. And so as I lose the weight, I know myself that I will go a little crazy occasionally, and I've watched the YouTube videos of people saying, just be warned, you're going to go through like the postpartum blues every time you lose another layer of emotional protection. So I'm worried about that a little bit, but I know there's an end in sight, and it's probably worth it. Is there anything else that we could add? I can't think of anything. I would just say I appreciate your guys' positive comments and what have you. This is definitely something that I've thought long and hard about. I welcome supportive, comments and questions about my own journey and choices. The only thing that I just flat won't entertain is people sort of questioning, and I've seen it in YouTube, but I've also just seen it flat out in life where people go, why would you do that? Do this instead. Well, I've done a little bit of the review. I know there's other options. Most of them I've tried, but this is the one that I've chosen for me and really for me and my family. And I'm excited to get the surgery part done, get on with it, and start living life and treating food as fuel and being healthy and active in my own life. So that's the scoop. If I've forgotten anything, if you guys have any other questions, I appreciate you so much. I want to start this journey and share it because I've appreciated so many people on YouTube and blogs and any other way that they'll share, reading their experience and trying to figure out what's right for me. So this is it. I'll start sharing statistics, including weight and measurements with these posts, which won't feel great to me until I start giving you afters too, but you got to have a before you can take an after picture. So that's how that starts. Okay, love and hugs.